Oh my gosh, we're gonna be live, and it's only taken me 2 minutes to be late. All right, redirecting to Facebook Live. I'm waiting to see if I'm live. I'm live. Waiting for you guys. I'm looking. All right, somebody's calling me. Why is somebody calling me? There we go. All right, I am live. Hi everybody. Please feel free to drop a comment. Oh, hi Heather. I'm gonna try to look at Zoom and do what we got to do and make sure that you guys get a ton of value and we have a great time. And I'm going to be looking at comments on my phone as well. So if I'm switching back and forth, please totally forgive me. And thank you. I try to look pretty. It's not so easy, as you know, being like a mama and a business owner and like a human being and like half zombie, half mom, half human all at the same time. But I really try most days. Um, some days I'm like, oh, my child just peed on me and now I get to take a shower. It's great. Um, and some days I'm like, come child, come take a shower with me because I can't just leave you alone by yourself because you go after cords that are plugged in and that's not safe. So this is my life as a mama trying to get stuff done. You guys totally know what I mean. All right, so I'm looking at the phone, I'm looking at Facebook Live, I'm looking at Zoom. Here we go. So if you're here, I'd love to just say hi, drop a comment, let me know who you are, where you're from, and I would just love to hear from you guys and get a conversation going. I really love interactive calls and stuff like this. If you have been to one of my talks, either at PartnerCon or SuccessCon, or you've done a Facebook Live with me, you know that I'm super interactive and I really want to make sure that you guys get a ton of value out of being here because I know that your time is precious. Time is the absolute most precious asset that we have in our lives, and it's the only one that we can't make more of, right? We can make more money, we can make more objects, we can we can have other sustainable resources, but time is the one thing that we cannot make more of. So I absolutely value your time and your effort of being here with me today. So thank you so much for that. And we are here to talk about quarterly planning. This is my Q1 quarterly planning masterclass. I want to show you guys how I went from working, multiple hours a day to having a team, to growing a multiple six-figure agency. And really, I could not have done that without some kind of planning. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. Again, drop me a comment. I love the comments. I live for the comments. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and we'll get started. We'll have a party. It'll be fun. Oh, all right. So my promise to you today is that if you give me your full undivided attention, you comment, you participate, um, you stay focused and undistracted, I promise that you will leave here with a strategic plan to help grow your business in the first quarter of 2021. You will make more sales and continue to build your income, as I'm going to show you how we have done, and to serve others and to serve yourself rather than just having a job that you have to grind at multiple hours a day, especially if you're like me and you're a mama entrepreneur or you're a parent entrepreneur. There's only so many hours in the day, right? There's only so much time to get your stuff done, and you have to focus and have to stay really solid with the time that you have in order to get things done. So I promise that if you focus today with me for a little while, I'm going to show you exactly how a multiple six-figure marketing agency does quarterly planning. And this is really this is the good stuff. If you're ready to conquer next year, if you're over 2020, like everybody else is, and you're just ready for the new year, this is absolutely for you. So let's get started. I really want to share my story with you. Some of you may have heard this a little bit before, and some of you haven't. So I just want to share where I've been as well. And I started I started in business, working for $3 an hour, doing the Upwork thing. I was working for $3 an hour, um, writing social media posts for a parking garage in the Seattle Tacoma airport somewhere, like an offsite parking garage. $3 an hour, constantly grinding, constantly having to find like bad clients that weren't a fit, weren't like, I didn't love what I did. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Tony. I didn't love what I did. It wasn't a fit for me. I had big dreams and no plans, right? I had goals with no due dates. And I wondered, like, why is this not working? Like, why is this not taking off for me? Why isn't something happening? Why is my business? It wasn't even a business at that point, right? Like, I was just exchanging dollars for hours, and I was just um, doing whatever was thrown my way. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have an idea of who I served. And I was just wondering, like, when is this going to take off? And the reality is that it's not going to take off until you have a plan, until you start putting things on paper, writing it down in black and white, and getting your strategies aligned with the goals that you want to achieve, and putting deadlines to those things. Hi, Ken. I'm so glad you guys are here. Oh my gosh. All right. The truth really was that I didn't have a clear strategic plan for laid out on paper with deadlines, for me to achieve the goals that I was like hoping for and had an idea about. They weren't really goals because they didn't have a deadline. I didn't have an idea of like where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. I just knew that I kind of hated posting on social media for somebody else's business, and I was really ready to make a big change. Um, I will say all the time, I was floating in the water thinking I was swimming. Right? Like, that's crazy. You know, big difference between floating and swimming, and that's where I thought I was. And the truth for me was that it really was, I just didn't have a clear plan that was laid out on paper with deadlines, and I had nobody to keep me accountable for those plans and deadlines. And now I run a multiple six-figure agency. We have an implementation side where we serve coaches, authors, speakers, and marketers who have membership sites. They sell info products. They do live events and masterminds. We do all of like the tech and the cool integration and fun stuff on that side. And then I also have a coaching side where I particularly love serving mama entrepreneurs who want to balance the baby and the business, and want to have it all, because you absolutely can have it all, or whatever it all looks like for you. You absolutely can have that. You just have to have a plan and a strategy. It has to be written out on paper. And that's why we do quarterly planning. It might seem kind of crazy to do it every single quarter because you think 90 days is not that much time, and it really isn't. But I promise you, you can get so much done, but you cannot accomplish anything unless it's written out, unless you have a plan, unless you have an idea of where you want to go. And that's what you're here to learn today. So I want to show you how we do quarterly strategic planning. And quarterly, excuse me, quarterly strategic planning is kind of a mouthful. I might refer to it as QSP. So just like bear with me and we'll make it work. And I think the easiest way to do quarterly strategic planning, or to do QSP, hi guys. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're all here. I think the easiest way to do quarterly strategic planning is to think about what was, what is, and what will be, right? Um, And in my Q1 planning, I'm not just my Q1 planning, Q1 in particular, I'm not just looking at that quarter, like Q2, Q3, or even Q4. I might look at just that quarter, but in the Q1 planning that I'm doing in particular, I'm not just looking at this one quarter. I'm looking at like the entire last year of what did I not accomplish? What did I not get done? Where do I where did I want to be, where am I, and where am I going? So I'm looking at all of those things, coupling it into Q1 as well. So let's talk about what was, what is, and what will be, because that's how we do quarterly planning. And I might share my screen in just a minute. And I wish I had like, Lindsay, whenever you do your presentations, you have like a whiteboard and like the whole thing, and I need to buy a whiteboard. So let's talk about what was. Think, and I want you guys for just a second, grab a notepad, grab a pen, open up Microsoft Word, open up Notepad, open up Google Docs. Like, take a minute right now, because I really truly want this to be super interactive. I want you to leave here with a plan, with something written out on paper, because that is the first and most important step. Right, like just like I said, having ideas, having goals, having dreams, this is all wonderful, beautiful, incredible stuff. And that's why you're entrepreneurs, because you think differently and you believe differently than other people do. But without it all written out, like you can't, right? We can't move forward. We can't do the things that we want to get done. So grab a notepad, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, whatever it is, whatever jives with how you take notes, and let's dive into what was, what is, and what will be. All right, so what was? Let's think about anything in 2021 that you wanted to do and did not get done. And I feel like, or not 2021, 2020. What 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 did you want to do in 2020 that didn't get done? And I'm not talking vacations, right? Because not a lot of us took vacations. I certainly didn't. I'm not talking like that sort of stuff, although that's really important, and that's like the end goal, right? But I'm talking, how do you make the money to pay for the vacation? How do you get the clients that pay the money to get to the vacation, right? Like, what kind of business things? And I want you to just take a minute and write them down, and I'm going to check out the chat in just a second. Yes, Ken. I literally started, though my very, very first job working on Upwork was for $3 an hour. And now we make, I couldn't even tell you how many times that per hour that we charge for implementation work. Yes, seriously. Yes, Lindsay, we are literally doing the best that we can. And for real, like, can I just say, when it comes to doing the best that we can, quarterly planning is that mirror to doing the best that we can. Quarterly planning is absolutely holding, and it's so hard, right? Especially in your own business. I deal with this all the time, and that's why I have an amazing coach, is because to talk to somebody else and to look at through the lens of somebody else's business is way different than to have to hold up that mirror. But you really are doing the best that you can. And when you want to get better, you want to get to that next rung, you want to improve. This is how we do it, is through quarterly planning and writing that stuff down and having an action plan. So we're thinking about 2020. What did you not accomplish? So a big one for me, I wanted to do more speaking engagements, and that, like, obviously, I did a couple virtual ones, which were so much fun and an amazing way to like pivot for like live events. But I really wanted to do more live stuff. I wanted to do more like local, like Florida based live stuff. Ken knows what I'm talking about. Ken is great at that. And it didn't happen. So that would be a big one for me. What else? Who else has something? Go ahead and comment. I would love to hear from you guys. Comment, like, what did you want to do? So Lindsay says, there's so much I didn't get done. Girl, I think we all feel that way, for real. Every single one of us is like, 2020. We could sit here for hours and write lists and lists of things that we didn't get done in 2020, but that's okay. That's why we're here. And if you're only thinking of like a couple of things, like, go through the notes, the post-it notes on your desk, go back through like your calendar of things that you might have planned, go through like your project management system. If you have Trello or Teamwork or something, like, go through those and look at some of those ideas. what was some of your revenue goals? Because that's ultimately what we're going to talk about in like the what was portion, or what will be portion, is because we know that the revenue is the lifeblood of our business. If we don't have revenue coming in the door, like what do we actually have? So what were some of your revenue goals that you wanted to accomplish? How much revenue did you do for 2020? Whether it was like for me, revenue is a little bit different, and we kind of break down revenue with multiple revenue streams. So we've got like the coaching side of the business, we've got revenue streams coming in from that. We've got the implementation side of the business and revenue streams coming in from that. We've got like our not recurring revenue, but like our affiliate commissions. I Let me tell you, it is like the best feeling in the world to wake up and be like, PayPal says that you got $75 from Samcart. Oh, thanks, Samcart. Blah blah blah. It is the best, literally best feeling in the world. Heather says, I'm with you. My plans for this year got derailed in January because of cancer, surgery, COVID. Girl, you have been through so much. Oh my gosh, for real. You've had a heck of a 2020, that is for sure. Um, so start writing some of those things down. And yeah, definitely like let's talk revenue, because I'll tell you this, like we were really lucky. Not only did we get implementation clients this year, we only lost one implementation client. And I wouldn't even say that we lost them to COVID as much as they were kind of on they already had a foot out the door, and COVID was like their excuse to leave, which is totally fine, totally peaceful. Like it's all good, and we've already made that money back plus some. Um, so what were some of your revenue goals that you wanted to hit, whether it's recurring revenue, revenue for certain months, like if you sell affiliate products, if you have like commission or anything like that, what are those goals? What are your goals from your different revenue streams? Like let's start to write some of those down. What are the things that you wanted to get done, whether it's more speaking, um, selling more products, doing more affiliate stuff, like building a program, building, a sustainable business. Like what did you want to accomplish? And start to write down some of those things. Did you lose any revenue? Like we lost, I wouldn't say that we lost, because we've totally made that up plus some, but we lost that one client that kind of had their foot out the door. So it happens. It's all good. You guys comment for me some of the things that you're writing down. Like I would love to hear and love to share, and I'm sharing with you as well. In fact, our quarterly plan, I'm so glad this is like coming at the best time, you guys, because my quarterly planning session. Hi, Rosalie. Oh my God, Rosalie is here. Hello. Oh, I hope you're doing great. We just talked like last week, didn't we? She's so awesome. This is coming at like the best time for me to do this masterclass with you guys, because my quarterly planning with my team is actually on Friday. So I'm really excited. So you've written out all of your goals. You've written out like the things that you wanted to accomplish in 2020 that you didn't get done, whether it was taking an action on something, doing more or even less, right? Doing less of something is a great goal to have. And maybe you didn't accomplish it or didn't quite accomplish it. Like my goal for 2020 was like have the baby and get rid of me doing any or all of the implementation work. And I totally accomplished both of those things, which is awesome. All right. So what are some of those goals that you wanted to achieve and didn't quite get there? Heather says, create passive income channels. We can totally talk about that, Heather. Launch your course. I would love to hear more about your course and like what your plan is for that. And then recurring revenue. Girl, we all need recurring revenue for real. It's magic. All right. So now let's talk about what is. And this is the biggest, in my opinion. It's not this is like the heavy part of quarterly planning. And I wouldn't say heavy as much as it's just like this is this is the gold mining, right? Like this is the good stuff. It takes a little bit of work. It takes like some thought process. It totally does. But this genuinely is like the best stuff. So I want to talk to you about SWOTs. SWOT, SWOTs. We're talking strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So in your on your notepad, in your Word doc, whatever you're working with right now to go through this masterclass together, I want you to write down SWOTs, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Go ahead and write that down in your notepad or Word document. And we're going to go through each one of those. And I want to give you just some real life examples of, the SWOTs that we do and what we're going through in our business so that it can help you either some food for thought or some inspiration, or even to just show you that like, yes, I would consider myself successful. Yes, I run a multiple six-figure marketing agency, but we still have issues, right? Like we're not perfect. We still have stuff. We still have to get our shish together. Like just because you achieve does not eliminate problems, and it doesn't eliminate like, any of that. It sometimes it creates more of it in certain cases, but it's just to prove to you that like we're all human. We all go through the exact same things, whether you are whether you're a brand new business owner and you're working towards the next rung of that ladder, or you're, a business owner that is more successful than I am. Like we all go through the exact same stuff. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Let's go ahead and break those down. So strengths are, and let me actually, I have like a little bit of an outline that I'm following, if you guys haven't noticed, because for me to just get up here and like is really difficult. But I'm gonna backtrack for just 2 seconds from my outline, and I want to say, um, the way that most businesses approach doing SWOTs is to do a SWOT for kind of like their entire business overall, like that 5,000 foot view SWOT. And that's what I want to do here with you right now. But I want to take a minute and say how important SWOTs are, and the fact that you can like nitty gritty, like get down to doing SWOTs to different aspects of your business, right? Like you can take one of the things that we're going to do in our quarterly planning is we're going to take our signature program and we're going to look at that and say, what are the strengths of that program? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities? And what are the threats to that program? So I want to say that like a lot of businesses can do SWOTs from like that 5,000 foot view. And that's totally awesome and amazing. And you have to do that as the business owner. But I want I want to show you that you can take the strategy and the idea of SWOTs and you can look at that. You can look at like individual things in your business. You can SWOT out your team or individuals on your team. You can SWOT out the way that you do social media. What are the strengths and weaknesses of how you do social media, right? Like every single way that we do anything in the business can have some kind of a SWOT analysis. So we're going to do the high level, but I want you to know that like you can totally like get really nitty gritty with this type of stuff, and that's truly where the magic of quarterly planning is. So let's do some SWOTs. And I'm just gonna do SWOTs for like my business and the 5,000 foot view to give you guys some examples. So what are some strengths that you have in your business right now? And when I ask you about your business, I'm not necessarily talking about like the stuff that you want to do, because we're going to get to that in just a minute. Excuse me. But what's the thing that you're doing right now that is bringing you the most revenue? Like for us, we've got like multiple income streams, but our biggest revenue is the implementation side. So I would do a SWOT on that. So what are the strengths that we have with our implementation? And go ahead and like write down a few of those, whatever that looks like for you, whatever that is for your business. What are some weaknesses? Where do you need to grow? A lot of weaknesses for service providers are going to be like team related, budgeting related. Knowing your numbers is another really big weakness. Um, and then the opportunities usually build off of those weaknesses. So I look at opportunities twofold. One, you always have an opportunity to take your weakness and make it better, right? Like there's always like you don't have to do quarterly planning to know that that's a thing. Um, so you can take your weaknesses and you can basically create your opportunities from those weaknesses. But also like what are some opportunities that you have? Like for me, um I've like partnered with different softwares, and each of those software companies, in each of those, like I've partnered with software companies. I've partnered and done like strategic partnerships with other business owners and individuals. And some of the opportunities that I might have as a business owner is like what kind of programs are those like software companies offering to me as a partner to them? Like what are some other programs or other things that I could create and sell? That would be one thing. What are some opportunities to like upsell our existing client base, right? Like all of those clients that we do implementation for, like what are some opportunities to either charge more or provide them additional services or anything like that. So those overwhelm, yes, exactly. Um, so think about some of those opportunities. And again, we're talking like right now in Q1, the way that I do Q1 quarterly planning is that we're talking planning for almost the entire year. Like I want to write out everything that I can possibly think of, and then decide like what do I want to accomplish for Q1? What do I want to or need to accomplish in Q2? What do I want to or need to accomplish in Q3? Blah blah and blah 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 for Q4. And then you're kind of like setting yourself up for your strategic plan for like the entire year, you guys. This is why we're doing this. I know it's overwhelming. I know it's a lot, but feel free to like come back and revisit this video so that um, you can get some more benefit and some more ideas in detail after the fact as well. So we're talking opportunities. So your weaknesses become your opportunities, but you also have, opportunities and chances to do other things that you might not realize or not recognize. Or if you have strategic partnerships, like go to those partners and say, hey, what do you have going on? What else can I do? How else can I grow? There are some opportunities there as well. And then threats is always kind of an interesting one. And threats, in my opinion, is like the least obvious and like hardest one to do. I would love for you guys to comment if you can think of right now without like much explanation from me, can you think of any like major threats to your business? I'll give you a second. I can think of a couple right now, especially for like the people that are on the call and the people that I know of in this group. I can think of one big one. So I want to share that with you. The biggest threat to solopreneurs, because a lot of you in this group are solopreneurs. A lot of like the mamapreneurs that I talk to are solopreneurs. Um, the biggest threat that you have, yeah, COVID was a big one. That's very, very true. Lack of focus is a big threat. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Amen. The biggest threat, in my opinion, to solopreneurs is it's just you, right? Like you're flying solo, it's all on you. And yeah, you could like I have a team and I'm the business owner, and I know that whatever my team does, even if they go rogue and do something that I didn't tell them to do, um, that's not a reflection on them as much as that's a reflection on me because I'm the business owner. I'm the leader. I set the tone. I set the tone for my team. I set the tone for our business. I set the tone for our clients, even though I don't really interact with clients anymore. But I set the tone for the team, and then the team talks to the clients, and then that sets the tone for them. So it all falls back on me. It's like a reverse pyramid, right? Like all the stuff and all the things and blah blah blah, and I'm there like holding everybody up. Um, yeah, lack of focus is huge. But so solopreneurs, when it's just you and you don't have anybody else to help with things, um, your business can go down if you go down, right? Like, um, I'm trying to think of when this was. This was before we got married. This was probably like 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. I was like just like I was like out of the I was out of the contractor mode, and I was into like solopreneur. I'm gonna be legit. I'm gonna have a business. Um, and I was starting to get clients like under that sort of umbrella as a business owner. I was a solopreneur doing my thing, and I got the flu. First time in my entire life I had ever gotten the flu. Um, and I like it rocked my world. It knocked me on my ass. I was in bed for 2 weeks. Like it was terrible. 7 years ago, not related to COVID. But I like couldn't serve clients, and I had nobody who worked for me. I was flying solo, doing everything on my own. And the biggest threat to my business was the fact that I was my business. I had nobody else to pass that workload off to. And I also wasn't like I wasn't a certified partner. I wasn't really active in like any communities where I had relationships and could say like, oh hey, I'm sick. Can you like take over this client work for me? Like I had nothing. And I literally, you guys, lost, I lost like 4 clients overnight. I lost every client that I had overnight because I was sick and couldn't do any of the work. That was a huge, huge threat to my business. Lack of focus is definitely something that you can like the reason that we write out threats, the reason that we write out any of these is so that we can improve on them, and we can make a space to name those things, to call them out so that we can improve on them, right? That's why. Um and again, don't forget you can always SWOT out different aspects of your business. We're just kind of doing that like 5,000 foot view right now. The other big thing that we do when it comes to SWATs that I want to make sure that I mention, because this is like this, as far as I know, this is really, really unique to the way that we do business, and kind of like a secret trick that I'll share with you guys. Most of the businesses, and I learned how to do SWATs from another like a friend of mine who owns a huge marketing agency, and he and his team are incredible. I learned how to do SWATs from them. As far as I know, most business owners will do SWATs, but they'll just do it from like their perspective, and they'll just do like what they know. I'm really lucky that I have a team, and I have, 4, 5, 6 other brains besides my own, that I can ask them, what do you think are your strengths and your weaknesses? I have put together an entire SWOT like Google form, um, with really specific questions about the way that we do business, about how they feel about different things in the business or clients or whatever. I have really, really specific strategic questions that I ask them, and I have my entire team go through that Google form every time I do a quarterly analysis. Um, and it is the most insightful, incredible sort of thing to look and see like, how do they feel about the work that they do? How do they feel about the clients that we have? How do they feel about me? And it's all anonymous. Although I will say, like, I have a small team, right? And I know my team really intimately, so I can read through their answers and I can pick out who is who. Like I just know. But if you're a really big business and you have like a ton of employees or contractors that work for you, and you don't know them as well, you might not be able to do that. So it's a little bit more anonymous. Um, so Ernesto, to that form, I'm gonna get to that towards the end of the call. A good question. Um, so we go through all of that because I believe that like more brains are better than one, and they will always have insight into the business, especially that because they do all of the implementation, they interact with the clients directly. They have insight into the business and into the clients and into that world that will never that I don't have, right? And will not have as long as I'm like in the CEO, mama entrepreneur, seat. Um, I'm removed from that part of the business, and they know so many more things than what I know. Yeah, Rosalie said Rosalie. I always mispronounce your name. I'm so sorry. You're amazing. Um, Going solo is so tough. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit too. So, um, that's how we do SWOTs. We look at like the business overall, and then we do SWOTs for like individual things, especially when it comes to opportunities and threats. I want to SWOT out like, okay, we have this opportunity to do this thing. What are the strengths or the benefits of that opportunity? Is it worth my while and worth my time? Is it going to give me an ROI to actually do that thing? What are the weaknesses or the potential failures of taking on that opportunity? Right. So we like actually nitty gritty, get down and like SWAT out really, really important stuff like that. And doing it like if you have an opportunity or you have a chance to partner with somebody or to go do something cool, or one of your strategic partners says like, hey, we're putting together this program, we would love for you to be a part of it, and blah blah blah. Do a SWOT analysis to see if it's actually going to give you an ROI, a return on your investment. See if it's going to give you back um, something for the time that you put into it. You guys, SWOTs are amazing and so life changing. um that's how we that those are the biggest things. And then once you have your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats, um you can then figure out a plan for what it is that you need to do to improve on those things. So strengths, one of the things that I love to do with strengths is I absolutely believe, and this has served me in business so much more so than trying to improve on my weaknesses, is how do I improve on my strengths? If I'm if I'm like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 at doing something, it's going to be a lot easier for me to go from being a 7 or an 8 to a 9 or a 10 at that thing than it is for me to take a weakness and something that I'm not good at, and start at a 1 and build up to a 6, a 7, an 8, a 9, a 10. You feel me? Right? So much more time. My example of this is, and I always talk about my relationship with my graphic designer because she's amazing. In my last webinar that we did last month on sales, and if you guys want access to that, just let me know. I talked all about my graphic designer, but because she's awesome. But one day I was like, I need graphics. I need to like up my game and brand my business. And I totally did. And you should do that too. But I was like, I really don't have a ton of money. So I'm going to learn Adobe Photoshop, and I'm going to like learn it in a weekend. It's going to be awesome, blah, blah, blah. So I like bought Photoshop and I bought a course, huge waste of money, huge waste of my time. And I was like, I'm going to learn Photoshop and I'm going to be able to do my own graphics. And I knew, right? Like I'm self-aware. I know myself pretty well. I totally knew that I am like not a visual person at all. I will have ideas in my head, but it's really hard visually for me, like creatively for me to take those ideas and like get them out of my head, or even to explain what it is that I want to see. I have to see it in order to know that I like it or not. And it's hard for me to like take the thing in my head and make my hand like do it. Like I don't know how people are artists, because I've tried to draw and I'm just like terrible at it. Stick figures like all day for me. It's not a gift that God gave me for sure. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna learn Photoshop in a weekend. Totally like bombed that. And the next Monday, I went on Upwork and hired a graphic designer, and she's been with me for 3 years, and it's been the best, literally the best decision. And she charges a hefty amount per hour, you guys. She is worth her weight in what she charges for sure. But she does stuff really fast, and for like I got a graphic this morning for something that I needed that she did in like 15 or 20 minutes. So it only cost me, I don't know, $10, $15, whatever it was. Um, like that's so much better than me wasting my time doing that thing that somebody else should do. So I really believe when it comes to weaknesses and strengths, it is more valuable for your dollars and your time for you to improve on the strengths that you have and improve on the strengths of your team than it is to try to take an absolute weakness and learn it or compensate for it. Now there's some exceptions to that, right? Like my project manager needs to be really good at managing projects. And if she's almost there, then maybe like we can pay for a project management course on like Udemy or what's the other one? It's like a woman's name, something.com. There's like courses that you can take, right? Or for me to like teach her and help her with that sort of stuff. Anyway, so you guys know what I'm talking about. And the way that I like the biggest thing for me when it comes to planning out my SWOTs is that I know I can only get so much done in a day, right? Like I'm a mama, I have a 9-month-old babe, and he's amazing. I have a business and I have people relying on me there. Like I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a mama, I'm a daughter, I'm all of these things. I'm like like the person at the circus like juggling 50 plates at one time, like on a unicycle. That is literally my life. And I only have so much time in the day. I only have so much time to work on my business. And I know that realistically, I can only get like one big thing done per day. And that's the reality for me right now with like my time and stuff. So knowing that, I can then plan out, what do I need to get done? What do I need to get done within the next quarter or the next year? And how much of that can I actually realistically accomplish? If I can get one big thing, one big thing, maybe a couple small things done per day, like how much can I actually realistically get done? Oh, lynda.com. Yes, Ernesto, you're absolutely right. Lynda.com. Thank you. And then once your SWOTs are done, once you know what you need to accomplish, what you want to work on, think about what can you prioritize, what can you delegate, what things do you personally, as the business owner, what do you have to do, what do you need to do, and then what are things that you don't need to do, that don't need your actual attention, that you can like hire out or delegate for or something like that. Awesome. So you guys, we've talked about what was 2020. What did you not accomplish? What do you want to accomplish? What are your goals? What were your goals and what did you not get done? We talked about what is, which is SWOTs, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. How can you SWOT out different things in your business and plan so that you can focus and actually accomplish those things? Now I want to talk about what will be. So we're kind of revisiting opportunities and weaknesses, like I just said. This ultimately becomes like your to-do list. This becomes what you're going to work on. And don't forget about those missed 2020 goals. We can revisit those too in terms of like making a strategic plan and figuring out what it is that you want to accomplish in 2021. Um, so let's stop for a second and like all agree on one really, really key thing that I mentioned earlier. Revenue is the lifeblood of every single business. If you don't have money coming in the door, like you're kind of not exactly a business, right? And you don't have to have multiple income streams like we do in order to have a successful business. You can, it's not necessarily like the best thing, but you can have one really solid income stream or one way that you make money, whether it's like implementation or services or coaching or you sell a product, whatever it is, and then you sell multiple of those. Well, those become like one income stream that you have like multiple channels feeding into that stream. You know what I mean? So I want to work with you right now to set some projections and some goals for the next quarter and for all of 2021. In particular, MRR. And what do I mean by MRR? It's monthly recurring revenue. This is how you grow a business, is looking at your MRR. I know how much money we make per year. I know how much money we make per month. I know how much money almost down to the dollar that we make on every single one of our products we sell, every single one of our coaching clients, and every single one of our implementation clients as well. And you guys need to know your numbers. And if you don't, there is like your Q1 ultimate goal. Know your numbers, keep tabs of your numbers, especially if you have some kind of like a CRM system or you have like a framework for that. You should be able to pull reports relatively easily. Even if you don't have a CRM, and if you don't, like, we need to talk about that. But if you don't and you just run payments through like Stripe or whatever, you have you can export a spreadsheet and figure it out there. Um, so let's talk about some of your MRR goals and your like financial goals that you want to achieve in the next quarter and the next year. And this especially is going to be really, really good for solopreneurs, because a lot of a lot of the reason, in my opinion, that solopreneurs don't grow and don't like hire a team and don't continue to build their business is because they think that they can't afford to hire people. And it's absolutely not true. In fact, you're wasting more money by not hiring someone than you are and would think by you doing all of the work. Let me see if I can share. Can I get an amen for that, by the way? Like, grow your team, hire people, get stuff done. Amen. Let me see if I can share my screen, and I want to walk through. Like some MRR numbers with you guys. Let me know. Let me know that you can. Amen. Thank you, Heather. Let me know that you can see my screen right now. Um, yes, Tony, delegation is key. Thank you. Amen. Oh my gosh, you guys got it. You guys are so, so awesome. All right. MRR numbers, and really any kind of like revenue like numbers, revenue projections, like this is what we're talking about. And let me go ahead and make my font like quite a bit bigger, because I'm just going to assume that it's really tiny. That's going to be a little bit better. Okay. Thank you. Yes, you can see my screen. Super. Okay. So revenue numbers, revenue projections. This is the money. This is the stuff. This is where this is how you run a business, is you have to have money coming in, right? So like first of all, let's say how much money are you making right now in MRR? What's your MRR right now. Let's say, and I'm just going to throw a number out there, but let's say you're making, I don't know, $3,000 a month, which is probably like quite a good bit less than what a lot of people are. I don't know. I don't even know. I'm so bad at like guesstimating stuff like that. I know how much we make, and that's like literally the only number that I know. But let's say, just for instance, that you're making $3,000 a month right now, whether it's from like one client or whether it's your entire income stream or whether that's like your total MRR. Let's just say you make 3,000 a month right now, and let's say that you want in 2021, you want to make, I don't know, 10,000 per month, whatever that looks like for you. I know Rosalie, you have to tell me how to pronounce your name correctly. Rosalie is in the UK, which I'm like super jealous because I'm a total like Anglophile and would live in London like tomorrow. And you would probably live in Florida tomorrow. So if you ever want to trade places, just let me know. I'm pretty close to the beach. But let's say that you, whether you're in like, whether we're talking US dollars, pounds, whatever you got going on, let's say you are making 3,000 a month right now and you want to make 10,000 a month, right? So we know that we have a $7,000 a month difference, right? Like pretty clear, pretty straightforward, easy math. Business is just math, you guys. Funnels are just math. How do I get people into my funnel to see my thing, to watch the video, to click on the ad? It's just math. It's just percentages. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's just math. So we're making $3,000 a month right now. We want to make $10,000 a month, right? We want to hit that six-figure mark in 2021. Awesome. We know that we have a $7,000 difference that we need to make up in order to get to that point. So what you want to start to think about to make up that difference is how much, not how much do I need to make, but how many clients do I need to have? How many products do I need to sell? How many things, blah, 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 like, right? Products or services, how many clients do I need? How many services do I have to sell? How many packages do I need to fulfill on in order to get to that $7,000 difference and get to that $10,000 a month recurring revenue mark? So again, simple math. Let's say that you charge, let's say that you have like a service-based business and you charge, I don't know, $1,000 a month for your client work. That's pretty easy. You'll need 7 clients in order to get to that place. But then let's take a step back and recognize, like, in order to get 7 clients, what's your close rate? What's your close rate on your services? Go ahead and write this stuff down with me, you guys. And I know, like, I'm sure you guys, like, this is not exactly the projections that you have. So go ahead and write down, like, what are your realistic numbers? What do you actually want to make? And if anybody's brave enough, please comment in the chat, or you can private message me if you would like, and we can talk about it further. But what is your close rate? If you need 7 clients at $1,000 a month, how many, and you need to close those 7 clients, what's your actual percentage of closing? So whether it's somebody looking at your sales page, or it's getting somebody on the phone and actually like having a sales conversation with them, how many phone calls do you have to make? How many sales conversations do you have to have in order to close 7 clients? My close rate is actually pretty high. Like, my sales page rate is a little bit different, but my sales conversation rate is pretty high. And if I can get a hot client on the phone, and have a conversation with them about like retainer hours and stuff, I'm almost guaranteed that I am going to close them. I think our close percentage is like 80% or something like that, right? So So if I close 80% of people and I need 7 new clients, and that close rate is actually really, really high. Let's say that your close rate is half, right? Let's say that your close rate is 50%. So then you need to have 14 sales calls um at 50%. Ooh, I cannot type today, you guys. At a 50% close rate, CR, in order to get 7 clients. Boom. Simple math. It's not easy. It is simple. Um, we know that we need 14 sales calls in order with a close rate of 50% in order to get 7 clients. If your close rate is lower than that, if it's like 30%, which is a little more than half of 50, we would need what, 20, 21 calls in order to get 7 clients at like a 30, 25 to 30% close rate, right? Is that right, math? I think that's right. I'm not the best mathematician. So what I'm trying to show you is that when you have a goal, when you set that goal and you know what that goal is going to be, you can start to work backwards to figure out how it is that you're going to achieve that goal. And so in order to make 14 sales calls or 21 sales calls, how many people do you actually have to prospect in order to get them on the phone? Um, Again, using my company and my business as an example, for our implementation clients specifically, when I have a prospect that wants to do implementation with us, I know that customer, I know that client really, really well. And when they are at the point that they want to do implementation, they have reached certain pains in their business. And as long as I can talk to them very directly about those pain points and I'm providing them a service and a solution that is going to basically eliminate that pain point for them, that's why my close rate is really, really high, because I only talk to people that are like hot leads, ready to buy, are like literally on the phone with me, reaching in their pocket to pull out their credit card. Like that's the person that I want to get on the phone with. And I only talk to those people. I don't talk to the people. I just don't. Like, period. I have a baby, I have a business, I got a lot of nonsense I'm dealing with. I have like better things to do with my time than talk to people. Not that they are not worthy of help by any means. They totally are. They're just not, they're not ready, right? So we have like nurture campaigns and other stuff that we do for them to provide them value to get them to that point that they are ready. But I really only want to talk to the ones that are like reaching for their credit card, desperate to talk to us. That's why we have such a high close rate. So if you don't know your client base well enough to recognize when they're at that point, we need to have a conversation about like who you're targeting and like how you're prospecting and what you're doing with that. I'm gonna take a drink of water real quick. Yeah, totally. Like this is all growth plans, Tony. Absolutely. How do I mute myself to like cough for a second? Have you guys felt in 2020, like every time I get like the tiniest little sniffle, I'm like, oh God, do I have it? I think it's just I'm pretty sure, like 99.99% sure that it's like just allergies. But every time I get like a little sniffle, I'm like, oh, quarantine me now. Okay, so bad. Anybody else feel like that? I totally feel like that, especially with the baby and like we've been so careful with everything. Like I'm like my fingers crack and bleed from the amount of like hand washing and sanitizer that we've been using, trying to like keep the baby safe and healthy and like away from everything. Every time I get like a sniffle, I'm just like, oh God. Okay. So this is how this is how your quarterly planning is done, and this is how projecting is done, is that if you want to make this kind of money, you have to figure out what's my math. How many people do I have to talk to? How many calls do I have to get on? How much prospecting do I have to do? Um, and then figure out what is your prospect to call ratio, right? Like that's that part of that customer journey that we talk a lot about is um Heather says it's awful in Colorado because this time of year, sinuses, cough stuff. Yeah, you're constantly coughing and having to tell people like I'm not sick. It's just allergies. Yes, I took the baby to the pediatrician back in like May or June when everything was like really like when we all kind of thought it would be over and everything was just really starting to heat up. And I like had some allergy stuff and I like walked in and when immediately was like, I don't have it. I just have allergies. Please let me be here to show like be the yeah. So I so bad. I totally get it. And I was like apologizing. I have nothing to apologize about for having allergies. But anyway, the whole thing for real. It's so bad. Why do we do that to ourselves? It's annoying. Um, where were we? Yes. So we're talking what is the conversion rate, or really what is like the take action rate between who you're prospecting and who's going to get on the call. So how many people have to like see your offer or know that your business exists in order to like take you up on a call, or like how many people do you have to have on your list and in your funnel in order to get them on that sales call or to take them to that sales page and show them that offer, like whatever that is, right? Again, let's say for like easy math sake that you have a 50% like conversion rate between the people between the people that like see your offer for a call and the people that like take action and take you up on that call. This again would be a really, really, really high conversion rate between like opt-in and taking you up on a call. But this is just again for easy math purposes. You would have to have like 40 or more people. Actually, the conversion rate between that is realistically probably like 10%. So if you have to make 14 calls, you're looking at like 140 people that need to see that you have a call available. Um, Heather asks, what would you recommend for people who are just starting out and maybe don't have metrics yet to figure out those conversion rates? Yes. So I think that's a really, really good question. Thank you for bringing that up. I would say it depends on, I'm going to cough again. Hang on. I would say that it depends on like the product. Heather, I know like a little bit about your business, but so I guess it depends on if you're talking like implementation strategy stuff or if you're talking about like the coaching program that you want to do. It varies, right? So if you're like me and you're talking like the implementation side and you're only talking to like prospects and clients that like really, really are need your services and they're like ready to buy right now, they just need to have a call with you to know that like you're a human being and that you're trustworthy, then you can like close and convert those people, and your conversion rate's going to be really high. But if you're talking more of like your coaching program, um, a 10% conversion rate, like 5 to 10% conversion rate from from ad to opt-in, from opt-in to lead, from lead to prospect, lead slash prospect to like taking you up on a phone call. I would say like the 5 to 10% conversion is going to be a very conservative figure. And normally I do all my math on my phone, but I'm like looking at your guys's comments on my phone, so I like can't do good math now. But let's say that you need like 14 sales calls in order to get those 7 clients. That means at like a 10% conversion rate, you have to have 140 people see your offer that you have a call available, right? You have like you have to have that many people. And then at another like 10% conversion rate from like opt-in to prospect, you have to have 1,400. Is that right? 10% of that? I think that's right. 1,400 like like people see your Facebook ad or whatever you got going on, just like see your offer and opt in for it. Do you know what I'm saying? So you just start to do the math and you start to work backwards and you start to recognize like all of this stuff. And then if you're doing Facebook ads in particular, I don't know if Lindsay is still on the call and she can comment on this, but I think like um yeah, it's 10% and you add the zero to the number. Thank you. I can do math. I'm not that sleep deprived yet. So, I want to say when it comes to Facebook ads that like a 3% to 5% like initial conversion rate is actually a half decent conversion rate for a Facebook ad that you can then go and optimize. If you have less than that, then it's probably not a good ad, and you need to just kill it, and then go focus on the one that's getting like 3 to 5% conversions, and then go and tweak it, like change the color, change the image, change the audience, change this, that, and the other, and then optimize that ad. Um, awesome. So that's how we do this kind of math for how to figure out like the MRR that you want, right? Another example, if you have a product and that product is $50, but you want to make, $10,000 next month, well, you need $10,000 divided by 50 or $50 like per person, which gives you the number of clients that you need at that dollar amount in order to make the $10,000 that you want, right? Like it's not easy, but it is simple math that you guys can absolutely do to figure out like where you're at, and where you need to be and how you can make that happen. Um, and this is also a really good way to see visually, like, am I charging enough to get to where I want to be? And also, like I said, with the time constraints and stuff, with like the baby and the business and everything I got going on, I only have so many hours in the day. I can only take on, like, if I'm doing one-on-one coaching or something, I can only take on so many coaching clients one-on-one before I'm tapped out and I don't have any time for the baby. I don't have any time for like my team. And I'm like serving clients and trying to like grow the business at the same time. I can only take on so many coaching clients before I'm like completely tapped out. And so I know if I want to make, $10,000, $20,000 on like the coaching services that I provide, and I only have like 3 or 4 hours a week to dedicate to those coaching clients, well, $10,000 divided by like 3 or 4 clients, I need to charge like 2 or 3 grand, right? To make up all of that stuff. So just work backwards, know the math, know how much do you want to make, what's realistic, look at the numbers, look at those conversion rates, and that will give you what you need. And yeah, Heather says you would need to sell 200 products of a 200 quantities of a $50 product. Yes, thank you. I'm so and it helps you to recognize when you might be reaching beyond your current capabilities and need to hire some help. Brilliant. Absolutely, absolutely brilliant. Yes, exactly. So this is how we do MRR. This is how we do projections. This is how we do our quarterly analysis. Um, and again, all of these goals, they're lofty, they're wonderful, they're beautiful, they're attainable, right? They're absolutely possible for you. But if you want something and you're like, you have to be willing to put in the work and put in the time to get it and to make that thing happen. Why is my hair doing this? There we go. That looks better. You have to put in the time to make that goal attainable, to make it work for you, and to write it down. And like this is why we do SWOT. Like I can talk for days and days and hours and however long about what I want to, what my dreams are and what do I want to accomplish, but until I actually physically write that thing down and put it in black and white and make a plan for how I get there, it's not going to happen. If your goal is to hire somebody, what are the steps, like what are the micro steps that you need to take in order to hire that person? Like, let's break it down. First, you need a job description. You need to know how many hours a week or a month roughly that person needs to work. You need to plan out tasks for them to do. You need to figure out what your budget is and how much realistically you can pay that person. If you have a coaching program and you want to hire another coach so that you can offer more coaching, how much do you make per hour on the from those coaching clients, and then what percentage of profit do you want to make? That will give you the dollar per hour amount that you can offer to hire that new coach. If you provide services, what do you charge per hour to those service clients? What kind of percentage do you want to make? 50, 60, 70%, whatever it is. And then that gives you the dollar per hour amount that you can pay for that person. And also understand, when especially when it comes to like dollars per hour services, as long as you're making that profit percentage and like you're covering what you want to pay yourself, what you can pay the business savings, expenses and all of that, like as long as you have those things covered, um every hour that that person works for you is money in your pocket, right? So like, yes, you're getting a little bit less. Yes, you're getting a percentage of it less because like you're not doing the work yourself. You're having to pay somebody else to do that work, but you're getting that in exchange for almost zero of your time. And like that's the beauty of being able to grow a business and really freeing yourself. And the other beautiful thing too is that it allows, like, you're creating jobs. I'm not a political person at all, but it drives me nuts when people talk about like the government or presidents or whoever like creating jobs. Presidents don't create jobs, y'all. Business owners create jobs. Entrepreneurs create jobs and create opportunities in this country. Just saying. So the other beautiful, I'm going to get off my political soapbox for a second. The other beautiful thing is that it creates jobs and creates opportunities for other people who, maybe they don't think like you, maybe they're not entrepreneurial, and they don't have that like that drive and that gusto, but they want to work and want to make a decent living to provide for their family, and you can give them that in exchange for helping you do what you do best and do what you love to do. Um, so the point that I'm making is that when it comes to each of these goals that you've now swatted out, you need to write down each of the steps. You need to create those little micro steps to get you to that massive goal. The example that I want to give is I was playing with my baby a couple of weeks ago. This was, and he like the other day he just started crawling on like his hands and knees. He's finally at like on all fours. He's 9 months old, by the way, so he's still a babe. But he's finally up on all fours. But when he was down and he was like army crawling, he was doing like that kind of crawl. I was playing with him one day and he was like on the other side of the room, and there was one toy. There was a toy that was like 2 or 3 feet away from him, but then I was like 10 feet away from him. I hear him crying in the background. He just woke up from his nap. I was like 10 feet away from him, and I had his favorite toy, right? I have his favorite toy in the entire world at the time, because now it's like totally changed. The thing that I did yesterday that he found funny, couldn't care less about it today. This is my life. Um, So I'm 10 feet away from him with his absolute favorite toy in the entire world. but he's only 2 or 3 feet away from a toy that he like kind of likes. Guess which toy he went for, you guys? The closer one. He's a baby and he knows like more about business than any of us. Literally knows more about like human nature than any of us. And it was a perfect example of like in business, especially when you're an entrepreneur, especially when you dream big and you have these lofty goals, like that yeah, he is the cutest little man in the entire world. Oh my god. When you have these big, amazing, hairy, audacious, like incredible goals, that's like the favorite toy, but it's super far away from you, right? And it's hard to see how many army crawls, how many little steps, how many things do I need to get done in order to get me from where I'm at to where I want to be to achieve that goal, right? Perfect example. So this is why we need to write out those steps. And this is why truly I believe you need someone to help you, to show you how to get there, to guide you through that process, because you absolutely deserve to have a business that serves you. You deserve to not work like countless hours every single day and even miss out on stuff with your kids or your babies. And all of your goals in the next quarter and the next year are yours for the making, not the taking, because I don't necessarily believe that things are just there and they like come to you. I believe that as entrepreneurs, like we make those opportunities for ourselves. So those goals are there. They are there and they are yours for the making if you are ready to achieve them. And the big question is, how are you going to get there? Wouldn't you love to have a business that serves you? Wouldn't you love to know exactly what those micro steps are that you need to take in order to achieve that dream, right? Like the example that I was in the process of giving and then got derailed by thinking about how cute my baby is. That happens a lot. um, the example I was going to give was when you go to hire somebody, what are like, it's a lofty goal and wonderful goal to want to hire a team, but what are all the steps that you need to do? Well, you need to have a plan of action, right? You need to know um, how many hours a week or per month you can give that person. You need to know how much you can pay that person realistically in your business to make the kind of profit that you need to make. You need a job description. You need tasks for them. You need to possibly train them. You need to show them how it is that you do what you do. Like we have SOPs. We have training for every new hire that they have to go through. We have a really, really specific way that we hire new team members. We kind of put, when we go to hire somebody, we like put them through the ringer. And if they are still with us by the end of all of that, and we know that they've survived, then they're kind of like worthy of working with us. But like you need to have all of these things. And if you don't know what they are, then you need somebody who can guide you through that process and can show you exactly how it's done so that it makes it easier and faster for you. So it really is time to take that step to get to that dream and get to those goals for 2021. So what I want to offer you today, to take things off of your plate, to achieve your goals easier and faster than ever before, is I'm opening enrollment for my Q1 2021 program that I want to show you because it's beautiful and amazing, and I'm so excited about this, you guys. And we like just started to offer this. Like this is brand new, and it's going to be so amazing and so much fun. Where is it? It's right here. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Q1 2021 program. Let's break it down. Here's what you're going to get. When you sign, and I'm going to look at this screen. I apologize. When you sign up, you're going to get a welcome gift from me. We send like brownies and a book and a branded, like the whole thing. And it's beautiful. And that's a $99 value. You're going to get the monthly group call which is a $1,500 value. So every single month, and this is a 3-month program, by the way, you guys, like, let me break that down for just a quick minute. I thought really long and hard about like what program, what do I want to offer? How can I help? How can I genuinely help people and get them to value quicker and faster? And my coach was like, "Oh, you should do like a 6-month program because that would be great," and blah blah blah. And I was like, I don't want to do, like, not that I don't want to be with you guys for 6 months, and we can totally talk about that later, but I want to get people to value like really fast. Like I want to give you everything that we have. So I want to do a 3-month program and do like an accelerator sort of thing. So this is what you're going to get. You're going to get monthly group calls for 3 months straight. You're going to get a 1 hour pro flow session with me. And what that is we get on a call for 1 hour. We go through your SWOTs. We talk about what it is that you want to achieve in your business. And you were going to leave there with like an action plan, like ready to go. And we're going to do some kind of a group chat, whether it's through like Facebook chat or like a Voxer or Marco Polo or something like that. We're going to do a group chat where you can message me like, within reason, any hour of any day, and I will get back to you, or anybody else in the group can get back to you as well. And that's a $1,500 value. And then let's talk about bonuses. So I think it was, I actually don't have it even listed here, but Ernesto was asking earlier about that like Google spreadsheet and those questions that we ask our team for our SWOT analysis. You're going to get that. Like, I'm just going to give it to you. You're going to get pretty much any document, access to any document that we have, whether it's our company core values, our strategic plan guide, our SWOT analysis guide, our SWOT analysis questionnaire, our SOP document, our new hire packet. Like, you want access to my campaigns, like, you got them. You want access to my documents, like any of our Google Docs, you got them, like, done. And I couldn't even put a value amount on that if I tried. So you're gonna get all of that, and that's not even listed here. But the bonuses, so you'll get all of that as part of the program, right? So the welcome gift, the group call, the pro flow session with me, the group chat, and access to like literally any asset that we have in any of our documents. You're going to get all of that. Plus, we're going to do a hot seat mastermind in the second month of Q1. So February, we're going to do a hot seat mastermind. It's probably not going to be live because, hashtag COVID, but we're going to do it like on Zoom or whatever. And I'm going to personally pick 2 members of the group who are just killing it and want to get like a little step further and want that extra oomph. You're going to get to be in our hot seat mastermind so that like everybody can learn from you and hear what you got going on. And I want to show off like what you're doing and how amazing that you are. So we're going to do that. You're going to get access to my course, The Impactful Opt-in Fulfillment. So this is like how, not only how do you create a guide, or how do you create some kind of like a lead magnet opt-in, but how do you actually deliver it in a way that like wows and really impresses your audience. And that ultimately plays into what we were talking about with like MRR. And conversion rates. How do you increase that conversion rate? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in my Impactful Opt-in Fulfillment course. You're also going to get access to the 2 videos of when I spoke at SuccessCon. The first was on like creating an amazing customer experience and all of the tips and tricks that I have on how to do that. And then the other one is related to creating an amazing opt-in. You're going to get both of those videos like totally for free as a bonus. And then the other big bonus, not only access to like all of our Google Docs, but access to me and my entire team. So let me break that down. I have a project manager. I have an implementation specialist. I have a data entry specialist who's awesome. I have an accountant. I have a programmer, and I have a graphic designer. And if you want access to any one of those people to ask them about their job, how they do things, the way that we work, the way that the things that they like, the things that they don't like, if you want to pick their brains, you get direct access to my team pretty much at any point, and we'll set that up for you. So if programming like isn't your jam, talk to my programmer and he will totally work something out for you. If graphic design is not your thing and you're like me and you're like, screw Adobe Photoshop, that is not my jam, you can talk to my graphic designer and she will totally hook you up. If you want to learn about project management, like we will give all of that to you. And this is like, I couldn't even put a price on that if I tried to. This is beyond a $5,000 value that I want to give you guys today for only $19.97. And to make it even easier and even better right here, right now, you can do the one pay, which is totally awesome and peaceful. But you can also do you can do a 3-pay option, which is like $680 per month, or you can do a 12-pay option. So you'll get access to me, to my team, to our documents, to everything to get you accelerated through the very first quarter of 2021, so that you can turn your 2021 into 2021, like WON, winning one. Isn't it adorable? Um, and we can do all of that for you and give you access to everything and get you accelerated through the first quarter of Q1. But you can pay for it for the rest of the year if that's easier and better and more peaceful for you. Because you guys, I have paid like buku bucks for big programs, and these coaches wanted like everything up front, and like I was a contractor or I was a solopreneur and I like didn't have like any of that. So I just like I had to come up with the money or take out a loan or throw it on a credit card. And I wish that I would have had like something better. Like, I wish I would have been able to like stretch that out a little more, because so I want to make sure that I like offer that to you guys as well. So you can do the 1-pay, you can do the 680, the 3-pay, or the 12-pay as well. And these bonuses expire tonight at midnight. So you've got like a couple hours well, really of like now, to decide if this is going to be an option for you. The Hot Seat Mastermind, the Impactful Fulfillment, the Success Con videos, and again, access to my entire team, which is literally like the best part of all of this, because I'm pretty cool. Like I'm all right, I'm awesome, but my team is like flipping amazing. All of those bonuses go away tonight at midnight. Let me show you how you can get access. So I'm going to jump back into Facebook here on my computer for just 2 quick seconds and see if I can post the sales page link into the chat. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead and comment with these questions. There we go. Comment with questions. I would love to know your feedback on how this training was as well. Like, did you get value from it? Did you like it? Did whatever? Like, I would love to get your feedback as well. And there, in the comments in the chat, is going to be the sales page as well for that. Thanks, Heather. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Ernesto, if you want access to that Google Doc, like I was saying, this is going to be part of this whole program. Like, I will give you access to everything, whatever you need, however I can support you, however my team can support you. Like, you get literally all of it. And those bonuses go away tonight at midnight. So sign up, get access. I'm going to give you everything. And if you have any questions or you want to go over anything, like feel free to DM me. I'll be around the rest of the day. I've got a coaching meeting in like a couple of minutes that I might be a little late for. And I am actually like going to get a massage today. This is like what I do to like be peaceful and to like breathe for a couple of minutes is like get out of the house, go get a massage, be totally cool. Heather says, I loved it and definitely got value from it. Awesome. Reverse engineer the numbers and you can figure out exactly what you need to get done. Very helpful. Heather, thank you. You're so amazing. I adore you. All right, you guys, thank you so much. You are all incredible people. You are entrepreneurs changing the world. This world is founded. This like our economy is because of small businesses and because of entrepreneurs. Like you guys are changing the world. And if you're like me and if you're an entrepreneur, sometimes we just need a little bit of help and a little bit of guidance. This is why we have these programs. DM me, let's talk, let's have a conversation. The bonuses expire at midnight tonight. Whatever you need, let's figure it out and make it work. I will see you guys on the other side. Have an amazing day. Bye, everybody.